Hello, hello, my lovely collective. Welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Okay, we have the seed and the healer, the prayer, the mentor, and the nectar. I'm glad that this is such a calm energy. Honestly, I just got back from a massage. I feel really relaxed. So I was like, this is probably really good energy to do a read-in. But I do have this feeling of like, just like all I've wanted is for everything to be okay, right? And I feel like most people want that, right? It's just like, I just want everything to be okay. I want to be okay. I want the people around me to be okay. But sometimes I think it feels like everybody, I don't know, I just like, maybe it's just me, but I just feel like the world speaks its own language and I think everyone comes in speaking their own language anyways, right? We all have our own love languages and we have, you know, like our own way of perceiving things. And a lot of that has to do with just, you know, like what's your chart, but also like how are you raised, and, you know, like are you comfortable with, I don't know, just like vulnerability or authenticity, because I think that we live in a world that calls for authenticity, but it's too like hypersensitive to actually engage with authenticity. And so I think that when you're trying to bring healing to things, oftentimes there feels like there's this hindrance or this blockage because it's like, oh, something, you know, somebody just like told me like what was up, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, well, you know, like if you want to grow, then don't you want to know like what's preventing that from happening? You know, and I feel like there's just this idea of like, okay, but this is what I really want. This is what I really want. The seed and the nectar, you know, again, I just feel like the seed is representative of this, like this longing for healing, but just not feeling like it's happening, not feeling like you've been able to, you know, get to where it is that you want to be with that healing. And the nectar is the idea of, I mean, you know, the nectar is life-giving, and it feeds you and it sustains you. And I just think of like the aroma of the flower and the nectar and how it sustains life. And, you know, it's just kind of this idea of like, I want to grow my seed in a healthy garden. And I kind of feel like just having somebody who says, okay, you know, like if that's what you want to do, then this is what it's going to take, you know, and just kind of like helping us to like find our way through it. You know, because I just think that sometimes we don't even know where to start, you know, and so we have to fall down a few times before we can stand up and actually, you know, like go in any direction. But I feel like there's just a desire for that. Collective. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. I think today's Friday. It's my Saturday. I don't know. Or Sunday, I guess. Okay, so we have the Sun, the Wheel of Fortune, the Ace of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and the Emperor. Yeah, again, I mean, to kind of go back to that, like, authenticity does not mean I'm here to stroke your ego. Authenticity does not mean that I'm concerning myself with coddling your, you know, your emotions about things. And the Queen of Swords, honestly, is like no bullshit. And it's like, if you want somebody who's going to, like, I feel like, and especially I feel like this about my channel, you know, like if you want somebody who's going to light and love you, you know, into a stasis of apathy and false senses of superiority, I am not your girl. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here for it, you know, like, and I know that even you know, like I feel like I get motivated by people who are more like authentic and real with me than people who are just, because you can tell when people like nitpick you, right? When people are just, they're petty, they're insecure, they're just there to like throw shit, throw shade. They don't have any real they don't have anything invested in it. They just get off on tearing other people down, right? Again, that's not authenticity though, is it? No, it's not. And I feel like you've been surrounded by people who lack authenticity in a way that it's almost like it rubbed off on you, you know? And it's like, I don't know, because we're the company that we keep, right? I was talking to somebody the other day, and it's like, if you've got one person who just always looks for a reason to complain, especially like if they're higher up and they, I don't know, like I just like that, like the idea of like, oh, it's management's fault. And it's like, well, no, it's that anybody who walks through the door immediately wants to turn around and walk out, because the energy that you come at them with is so aggressive and condescending, and nobody wants to stick around. And it's like, well, maybe take a look in the mirror, you know, like why doesn't anybody want to stick around for that? You know, and that's not always an easy thing to hear. And yet, you know, like if you don't deal with the issue, like the actual issue, and you know, you're just kind of like, oh well, everybody should just, you know, be fine, and I think that we should have a solid team, and it's like, well, no, that's not going to happen. You want a solid team, you got to get in there and you got to work out those knots, right? You got to get those speed bumps along the way. But I think that, you know, there's a decision being made that's really, I think, turning this around, and allowing for an opportunity to engage in authenticity and joy, because as fearful as we are of authenticity in this society, when we experience it, it is like water rushing over us, you know, because when you are allowed the space for authenticity, you are also allowed a space that safely says it is okay to be you, you know, and not you can only be a part of this if you adhere, if you bow down, if you engage in pettiness and gossip, you know what I mean? And that's usually how people get held down in their place. You know, peer pressure is probably, I think, one of the strongest forms of pressure that we face. Okay, we got cards. Collective. Death. 10 of Swords. 2 of Cups. Page of Wands. 3 of Swords. Ace of Cups, and the Moon. Well, you know, again, just this idea of like this end and this, you know, I think that something in our lives has ended. You know, and it's something that has left us kind of feeling like, you know, like all I want to do is be okay. And that means being honest. And if no one in this world can handle honesty, then I don't even know what, you know what I mean? Then I guess I'm screwed here. You know what I mean? But not really believing that, because the world is such a massive place, and there are so many different people, there are so many different career fields, there's so many different ways, you know. I feel like for me, I cannot be in sales. I can't do it. I'm great at it, but I hate it, you know. And I don't want to work in an office, and I don't want to work in the like the restaurant industry, or you know, like retail. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know what I want to do, because I just feel like anything that I do, I just like it drains me and exhausts me. And it's funny because I was doing a personal read for one of my, you know, subscribers, and he's a Virgo, and hey, hello, hope you're well. Also a massage therapist. And we were having this conversation, and I was like, you know, I just like, I'm super sus about touching people. And, you know, like if I don't know you, because we absorb energy, and I'm already so sensitive to energy that like being physically, like I don't, like if I don't know you, I'm not hugging you. You know what I mean? And so like I feel like massage therapy always kind of like pushed me away. But anyways, he was a massage therapist, and he's sharing all of these stories with me, and I was like, you know, I wonder if I was in an environment where I was doing it intentionally and I was being, and so I started school and I'm going to school for it. I kind of think that I want to be like a doula, because I do love babies, and I think that we're always going to need people who are able to, like help bring life into this world and assist in that process. And I still don't know, because I just started OBS, because I wouldn't have these nails if I was in the practical part of the of school. But I just think, like it's been like me following my intuition and me just kind of like, okay, like where are my gifts? What types of people am I drawn to? What types of like how would I want to, if I'm still, like I'm still growing up just like everybody else, like what do I want to do? What do I want to be? Why do I want to be that? Like I was in the hustle grind culture for a long time, and I think I thrive on it because I am very like goal oriented, but I knew that that part of my life couldn't continue. You know what I mean? Because like it was destroying me. It was leaving me angry all of the time. It was leaving me frustrated all of the time. But I feel like it, like that's just an example, and this can play out for you all in so many different ways. But it's just this idea of like, okay, like I know what's not working for me, and I need to be able to authentically speak on what it is that's not working for me in order to really move past it. And I think just like finally experiencing, well, the Two of Cups, I mean, this is the idea of like a couple that's separated, but like they won't always be separated. So maybe some of y'all are going through, like a separation in a relationship where you just feel like, I know that like that I can't be who I need to be for you, and I know that I can't, like I don't fit into the role that you are seeking to fill. And so I've got to go my own way. I've got to follow my intuition, and I've got to figure out what it is that I'm holding on to that hurts, so that I can release it and I can move forward into, you have the Ace of Cups here twice, and maybe it is a relationship, you know what I mean? But it's just kind of this idea of like, in order to really bring healing to things, like you have to be willing to let go of a whole lot of other things. And I feel like you're letting go of some things that are really enabling you to step forward in a way that is just turning things around for you in a really big way. And I love that. Okay. Collective. The Ace of Swords, the Ten of Wands, the the High Priestess. I got massage fog. And the Six of Cups. I do kind of feel like there's an idea of like emotional detachment from something. And it's like, instead of feeling like I need to, like protect myself emotionally from everything, because I do kind of get that feeling of like, if I want to be authentic in who I am, then I have to, like I have to somehow protect that, I don't know. I just kind of think of like, you encounter people along the way, and it's like, if you say anything about something that they care about, they're like immediately on the defensive, and they're like ready to fight about it. And it's like a hyper vigilant form of authenticity, because I just get the feeling of like never being provided with a safe space to really just like speak your truth and like be heard. But again, I just feel like you are coming into a place of like with yourself, where you're finally becoming comfortable enough with your own truth that you are able to share it with other people, in a way that doesn't feel threatening, or doesn't feel, like I'm on the defensive. It's just kind of like, like I'm so comfortable with where I'm at right now that I can comfortably engage with that in that with other people in a way that will allow for me to really, I think, the mentor is, is coming in as an outside energy right now. And so I feel like there's just been this transition, you know, of self that's enabled us to really move in another direction, so that we can provide a safe space for ourselves and honor ourselves in a way that we feel like, okay, this is me authentically showing up for myself. And if I'm able to authentically show up for myself, then I am able to draw in people to me who will be able to take that authenticity and mold it into, you know, like, or not even mold it into, but like assist in molding you into, you know, like that person that you want to be. Because all you've really wanted is to just be okay. Right? Yeah. Okay. The vow and the shadow. You know, I really do feel like there's an idea here of holding a promise to yourself that you're going to make it out of this. You know, I just feel like, okay, like if I know that this environment brings out the worst in me, if I know that dealing with this person brings out the worst in me, if I know that this is not something that I am actually made for, then I can start focusing my attention on developing relationships with people who are authentically themselves and allow for me the space to authentically be myself. If I know that like I can't work in a certain career path anymore, then I can, you know, switch that and start focusing on, you know, like what it is that I think that, you know, like if I had never gotten lost in the, you know, I don't know, because like when I was growing up, all of my favorite movies were like advertising executives, you know what I mean? So it was only natural that I loved advertising and marketing, and it's story, and I love story, you know what I mean? But, you know, as I got into it, I realized there was a lot more to it than that, and it wasn't all that great. And so I, you know, like I had to make a promise to myself that I was going to pull myself out of that. And that, again, is just an example. I could give you 1,010,000 different examples, but I'll stick with that one. But collective, I hope so very much that this resonates with you all. Thank you for spending some time with me. Please give me a like, share, and subscribe if this does resonate, and I will see y'all again soon. Bye.